Work to hand it over. It was weird that my mother was somehow unable to call her own children by name, but had no such problem with Tupperware bowls. To say nothing of the fact that I would have far, far preferred a name like Crystal to Gerda. But that's how it is. Not only did almost everybody have prettier names than I did, so did most kitchenware. But at least my sisters were similarly afflicted with names as unattractive as mine. This was because we were all supposed to have been boys. After each birth produced an unexpected girl, my parents basically just girlified the boys' names they had already selected. Tina, short for Martina, was supposed to have been Martin. Rika, short for Erika, was supposed to have been Eric. Lulu, short for Ludwiga, was supposed to have been Ludwig. And I was supposed to have been Gerd. Tina had the least to complain about. Her main criticism was that Martina was so common. And then, to make matters worse, she married a guy named Frank Meyer, who was just as dissatisfied at how common both of his names were in Germany. So that's why their kids all had names that no one else had, and would not likely want either, if you ask me. Their names are Chisola, Arsenius, and Habakkuk. Chisola, Arsenius, and Habakkuk Meyer. Chisola was 12 and didn't talk that much, which Tina blamed on Chisola's braces, but I blamed on Chisola's little brothers, who were 4 years younger. The boys were twins and never stopped making noise or mess, as had been the case at supper just now. It turned out I didn't need to worry that anyone might detect something was off with me. As always, all attention went to the twins. No one would have noticed me anyway, even if I'd been carrying my head under my arm. Habakkuk kept mashing his cabbage and potatoes together, then trying to suck the pulpy mixture, jaws closed, through the gap in his front teeth. Arsenius kept clanking his utensils on the edge of his plate, chanting, "Habakkuk, chuck up that guck! Habakkuk, chuck up that guck!" And after a little while, Habakkuk did so. He spit his pulp back out onto his plate, complete with gagging sounds. "Habby," my mother said with mild disapproval. "What will Patrick think of us?" "I don't care what he thinks," Habakkuk said, scraping a little piece of red cabbage out of his teeth with his fingernail. Patrick was my sister Lulu's new boyfriend. I was flabbergasted when Lulu had brought him to Sunday supper for the first time a few weeks ago, because Patrick looked exactly like someone I used to know. Well, know might be a bit of an exaggeration. He looked like the guy from datingcafe.de, whom I'd gone out with once, rockin' hard 12. My memory of this meeting was not particularly fond, which is why at first I just stared at Patrick aghast. But Patrick didn't show the slightest sign of recognizing me. Nor did he wince when Lulu introduced me and I shook his hand, saying, "It is so rockin' hard to meet you." Even though I normally have a good memory for people and their faces, I quickly realized I was mistaken. Patrick and Rockin' Hard 12 just looked like twins is all. Patrick was good-looking, down to the pointy little goatee, and unlike Rockin' Hard 12, he came off as more or less normal. Although Patrick was fairly secretive about his job. "Now, Patrick, what do you do for a living?" My father had asked the first time he joined us for Sunday supper, and Patrick had vaguely answered, "IT." This was now the third time he had been to my parents' house, and they still didn't quite get what kind of career IT was, but dared not ask the same question again. I did notice how my mother had taken Lulu aside before supper tonight, however. "Now, what exactly does Patrick do for a living again, sweetheart?" And Lulu answered, "IT, Mama. He told you that the last 2 times he was here." My mother was still none the wiser, but I was pretty sure my sister was telling her girlfriends that her new boyfriend was a really nice guy and earned a lot of money in IT, and that she hoped it was serious this time. It was hard to guess what Patrick thought of us, though. His face didn't give much away. "I'm sure Patrick knows that boys can be a little wild."